Welcome to the ResiDENTAL Movement. I'm your host, Dr. Ashley Robinson, a house call dentist with a lot of passion for dental home care. I'm here to encourage, equip, and empower dentists like you to begin offering dental services at the residences of patients who are best served at home. Listen in as we talk dentistry, business, ethics, mindset, and more, and learn how you can become a part of the ResiDENTAL Movement. I was never a Girl Scout, but growing up, I really liked their motto, be prepared. Preparedness is super important for everyone, but especially for house call dentists. You're bringing everything in. If you don't pack it, you won't have it. I want to start today's episode with a lovely story of the time I forgot to pack something pretty important. So for starters, I used to really hate packing for operative appointments. Today, I have systems in place and packing is so much simpler, but for a while in the beginning, I really hated packing for op. There are so many teeny tiny items. When I first started, I focused so much on making sure I had every little thing I could possibly need. Mylars, wedges, articulating paper, cotton rolls, bond, limelight, a curing light. I mean, really, take a second and think through every item you need for op. It was overwhelming to me when I first started doing this. So after about an hour of thoroughly packing and stressing, I was confident that I was ready for my appointment. Later that day, I rolled into my patient's kitchen, set up, laid everything out, and it looked like I was good to go. So I went for it. I anesthetized, excavated, isolated, and then I realized I didn't have a freaking resin gun. I had the resin, no gun. I was incredibly annoyed. I think I made an audible sigh. I ended up using a different burr on my high speed to cut the plastic on the resin capsule and just use the plastic instrument to get it out. I made it work, but cutting through plastic in someone's kitchen isn't such a good look. The moral of this story isn't, you've got to improvise. Even though improvising is an important skill that saved me in that moment, the moral of this story is actually, don't forget to pack the things you need. I'm lucky I only forgot the resin gun and not a more essential item. So here are 3 good habits to develop to make sure you are always prepared for your appointments. Number 1, give yourself enough time to pack. In the beginning, give yourself more than enough time to pack. Eventually, you'll figure out systems that decrease the amount of time you need, but make sure you're never rushing through this process. If you rush when you're packing, you're much more likely to forget something. Number 2, pack extra. Think you only need 1 mirror? Pack 2. If you need 3 handpieces that day, pack 5. Equipment fails, instruments fall on the ground, things happen. And in someone's home, a lot of things can happen. Number 3. Habit 3 is to overpack these 3 items: gloves, cavi wipes, and hand sanitizer. You'll go through them like water. If you don't have them, you can't continue working, you can't clean up properly. They're just absolutely essential. You'll go through more than them on any given day than you think, so it's just a good idea to make sure you always have extra. Side note, luckily gloves and hand sanitizer are things you can grab at drugstores in a pinch, but cavi wipes, though, just keep multiple packs of them everywhere. Let me share another important tip with you. Pack an extension cord. Imagine getting all of your packing done, lugging everything into someone's house, having all of the necessary supplies, and the patient just happens to be situated slightly far away from an outlet. This can easily be avoided by just making sure you pack an extension cord, always. So now you understand how important it is to be prepared and make sure you have everything, but you may be wondering, how exactly do I transport all of this stuff? Well, I began by using a standard suitcase. The standard suitcase is a perfectly reasonable option. It's something that you probably already have and can begin using right away. My suitcase had 4 wheels on the bottom, so it was easy to maneuver. I used plastic bins from the dollar store and would fill them up with different pieces of equipment every day. After using the suitcase for a little while, I found it difficult to fit everything that I always wanted to have with me: emergency meds, blood pressure cuff, extension cord, enough equipment for up to 5 patients a day. Plus, I had to unpack and repack it every single day. This took time and made it very easy for me to forget things. I've since switched to using a Milwaukee packout system. If you've ever worked, or you know anyone who's ever worked in construction, then you might know what I'm talking about. Packouts are something that my husband Chris introduced me to. He's a commercial electrician and uses these at his construction sites. They're essentially Lego-like storage compartments. The bottom of the packout system is like a big cooler at the bottom of a dolly. Then you can stack other compartments on top because they clip into each other. This is great because every procedure has its own pack-out compartment. I can bring multiple compartments into my car every day and then only bring what is necessary into any one patient's home. Every day when I'm packing and getting ready, I already know which compartments have which instruments in them, so it's easier for me to save time. The cons to my pack-out system are that it is super bulky and heavy. It's way less maneuverable. Honestly, it's made me consider expediting my next car purchase so that I can go up in vehicle size for it. If you can't lift any substantial amount of weight, start with a suitcase. Also, pack-outs are expensive. A pack-out is a luxury item that can come in handy later on in your house call career. You certainly don't need it to get started. So now you've heard about the need to be prepared, you've gotten some tips on helpful habits, and you've heard about my transition from using a suitcase to the pack-out system. You are way ahead of the game, my friend. Thanks for listening in today. I hope you feel more prepared to become a house call dentist. Whether you decide to pursue dental home care or not, consider supporting the patients in need of it by contributing to the Home Smile Care Foundation. The Home Smile Care Foundation is a nonprofit organization founded by myself and my loved ones in order to offer financial assistance to patients who are homebound and cannot afford care. For more information, visit homesmilecarefoundation.org. Thank you very much for listening today. I appreciate you. That's a wrap on this episode of the ResiDENTAL Movement. If you liked what you heard today, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. If you know someone who could benefit from this info, please share this with them. All of those actions help fuel the ResiDENTAL Movement. Thanks again for listening, Doc. Keep up the good work.